Welcome to Above Light. Today is day 2 of spreading the gospel and sharing all the prayers of the Bible, of which there are 650. And today we're covering prayer in the altar, which is Genesis chapter 12 and Genesis chapter 13. Chapter 12 goes into the call of Abram and Abram in Egypt. Chapter 13 goes into Abram and Lot separating. Okay, let's begin with a quick summary for chapter 12. So chapter 12, to summarize it, God calls Abram to the land of Canaan. Abram's obedience to this call is shown in verses 4 and 5. His welcome to the land of Canaan in verses 6 to 9. And his journey to Egypt with an account of what happened to him there is in verses 10 to 13, and Sarai's danger and deliverance in verses 14 to 20. So let's begin reading. I'm going to read from the NIV version. The Lord had said to Abram, "Go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. And all peoples on earth will be blessed through you." So Abram went as the Lord had told him, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he set out from Haran. He took his wife Sarai, his nephew Lot, all the possessions they had accumulated, and the people they had acquired in Haran, and they set out for the land of Canaan or Canaan, and they arrived there. So just to summarize, in those verses, we have here the call by which Abram was removed out of the land that he was born in into the land of promise. His promised land was designed so that it can try his faith and obedience, and also to separate him and to set him apart for God to use. Okay, let's continue with verse 6. Abram traveled through the land as far as the site of the great tree of Moreh at Shechem. At that time, the Canaanites were in the land. The Lord appeared to Abram and said, "To your offspring I will give this land." So he built an altar there to the Lord who had appeared to him. From there, he went on toward the hills east of Bethel and pitched his tent, with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east. There he built an altar to the Lord and called on the name of the Lord. Then Abram set out and continued toward the Negeb. Here we see that God in his glory appeared to Abram and left Abram no room to doubt the divine authority of his call. Today, God still does the same thing. For many of us, maybe he comes to you directly, and for some other people, he may come through the signs and wonders that you have to pay attention to because only you would know them because it's unique to you. For example, maybe God speaks through the numbers on the clock, through the numbers on the license plates, through the numbers at the cash register, or maybe he shows you a sign in another way. Maybe he shows you the same color every day. Maybe he shows you, comes to you through a different scent. It's different for everyone because everyone has their own gifts, but it's for you to pay attention and figure out what that is that God is sharing with you. Okay, so now let's continue with verse 10. Now there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down to Egypt to live there for a while because the famine was severe. As he was about to enter Egypt, he said to his wife Sarai, "I know what a beautiful woman you are. When the Egyptians see you, they will say, 'This is his wife.' Then they will kill me, but will let you live. Say you are my sister, so that I will be treated well for your sake, and my life will be spared because of you." When Abram came to Egypt, the Egyptians saw that Sarai was a beautiful woman, and when Pharaoh's officials saw her, they praised her to Pharaoh, and she was taken into his palace. He treated Abram well for her sake, and Abram acquired sheep and cattle, male and female donkeys, male and female servants, and camels. But the Lord inflicted serious diseases on Pharaoh and his household because of Abram's wife Sarai. So Pharaoh summoned Abram "What have you done to me?" he said. "Why didn't you tell me she was your wife? Why did you say, 'This is my sister,' so that I took her to be my wife? Now then, here is your wife. Take her and go." Then Pharaoh gave orders about Abram to his men, and they sent him on his way with his wife and everything he had. Okay, now moving on to chapter 13. So Abram went up to Egypt to the Negev with his wife and everything he had, and Lot went with him. Abram had become very wealthy in livestock and in silver and gold. From the Negev, he went from place to place until he came to Bethel, to the place between Bethel and Ai, where his tent had been earlier, and where he had first built an altar. There Abram called on the name of the Lord. Now Lot, who was moving about with Abram, also had flocks and herds and tents. But the land could not support them while they stayed together, for their possessions were so great that they were not able to stay together. And quarreling arose between Abram's herds and Lot's. The Canaanites and Perizzites were also living in the land at that time. So Abram said to Lot, "Let's not have any quarreling between you and me, or between your herders and mine, for we are close relatives. Is not the whole land before you? That let's part company. If you go to the left, I'll go to the right. If you go to the right, I'll go to the left." Lot looked around and saw that the whole plain of the Jordan toward Zoar was well watered, like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. So Lot chose for himself the whole plain of the Jordan and set out toward the east. The two men parted company. Abram lived in the land of Canaan, while Lot lived among the cities of the plain and pitched his tent near Sodom. Now the people of Sodom were wicked and were sinning greatly against the Lord. The Lord said to Abram, after Lot had parted from him, "Look around from where you are, to the north and to the south and to the east and to the west. All the land that you see I will give to you and your offspring forever. I will make your offspring like the dust of the earth, so that if anyone could count the dust, then your offspring could be counted. Go walk through the length and the breadth of the land, for I am giving it to you." So Abram went to live near the great trees of Mamre at Harbah, where he pitched his tents. There he built an altar to the Lord. Okay, let's quickly run down what we just read. So in chapter 13, in general, we are talking of Abram and his condition and behavior in the land of promise, which has now become the land of his pilgrimage. He's removed. He has his riches. He's shows his devotion. A particular account of a quarrel that happened between him and Lot, the unhappy occasion of their strife, the parties concerned in the strife they were agitated, so therefore they separated, and they after making up for the quarrel. By the prudence of Abram is when they made the choice to separate. Lot's departure from Abram went to the plain of Sodom, and then God's appearance to Abram to confirm the promise of the land of Canaan to him, which he said at the end, from the east and north, the south and west, all of which he would give to Abram and his offspring forever. I think this chapter is a great testament to the fact that Abram was not only rich in faith and goods and promises and good works, but in material things like the cattle and the silver and the gold. It's a testament to how in God's providence, he makes, the average man rich and teaches them how to abound and how to suffer, wanting while still in growth. Because he says the riches of a good man are the fruits of God's blessing, which is very clear what we see with Abram here in this chapter, because Abram was blessed, therefore his offspring also were blessed. And the key thing is that blessing made him rich without any sorrow. So we see that true piety and great prosperity go hand in hand. In short, you could also look at it as how having outward prosperity as an ornament of an ornament to piety. Man can be rich both in heaven and on earth. One of the other key takeaways here is that when you want an altar, get on your knees and pray to the Lord. Just call out to his name. Wherever you are, he will answer you. It's key that also, Abram built an altar in the new land that he arrived in, per the instruction of God, as a token of his thankfulness toward God for having visited him and for having paid him a visit. So praising God is necessary. So when God meets us with his gracious promises and rewards us in the ways that he has promised to do, it's only customary that we should praise God and be humble with our praises and give thanks to him. Of course, Yeshua HaMashiach does not require this for everyone, but it would make sense, like if somebody gives you something that you asked for, whether you prayed for it, yes or no, you show appreciation through giving humble praises and thanksgiving. Take a moment and go and shed a little bit of light on this day. We will resume tomorrow on day 3, reviewing the prayer for an heir, which is within Genesis chapter 15. So see you tomorrow.